Okay, we're going to start Module D Lesson 7 now. And what I've done is I've sanded my board. I've put a coat of multi-surface sealer on the top and on the bottom. And then sanded it again lightly. And I've lightly put my mountains and grass line and the outline of the fox on. This is going to be a nice large painting, so it'll be kind of easy to see the details. I blew my pattern up. Took me a little while to get it just the right size. Okay. We have our red mixes, and this was interesting to me because this one is made with burnt umber and burnt sienna, and that was a nice color, so I want to remember that. On a couple of places it tells you how much of your proportions to make, and in this one it said on your hand mixing card to use the size 3 circles, and I don't have that now where I can, so I just knew that I needed to make more. We're going to do some brush mixing over here on the blue mixes, so those are the things we brush mix, so I set those right there, and then we made our brown mixes. And one thing I want you to do while you're making these mixes, you know, I'm not going to spend a whole video on making the mixes anymore. We're in Module D and you understand how to do that. But I would like for you to ask yourself why you're using what you're using when you're making these mixes. For instance, like in the green mixes, this one right here, we used pine green, medium gray, and burnt sienna and black. And I want you to ask yourself when you're making these mixes, one of the things I want to talk to you about is ask yourself why you're using the colors you're using as you're making these mixes. Plot it out in your mind what's happening as you mix. For instance, the yellow mixes, it says yellow deep for, let's see, the yellow mix 1 says yellow deep and red mix 3, and then underneath 2 it says yellow oxide, yellow deep, and burnt sienna. So if you ask yourself about why you're using these colors, well, you know that you're mixing yellow, and you know that you want a toned yellow because oxide is toned and yellow deep is somewhat toned also. And then, so why do you use the burnt sienna in here? Well, you want an orange yellow, and that burnt sienna puts that in there. It's also our toner for the entire palette. But why use burnt sienna? Well, because you want something with a fall color look in it, and if you notice, all of these colors here will fit in there. They all have burnt sienna in them, and so they will all, when work together, give you the idea that the scene you're looking at is a late summer or a fall scene. Let's see if I can find the photograph here. You know, I think that the reason we've used burnt sienna is so that everything will relate to the fox. So as you mix these colors, you get the fox colors here, and then all of the rest of them relate to your fox. And these are some beautiful reds. But anyway, you can ask yourself, you know, how burnt sienna comes in here. Well, it's an orangish yellow. It's a very toned orangish yellow, so that's what you're going to get. And over here in this one, you can tell that. Now, we made the Payne's gray, and that also has burnt sienna in it. I thought that was very interesting when I mixed the Payne's gray. It, let's see, it has black, burnt sienna, and phthalo blue. So burnt sienna and phthalo blue make a nice gray, and the black darkens it. So, you know, it's nice to just plot in your head when you're mixing these colors where you're going and why you're going there, so that you understand, and that when you're ready to mix your own colors, then you will understand the process behind that. Let's see, there is one mix in here, yellow mix 2. It doesn't tell you the proportions, and what I did was I mixed pretty much equal proportions, but just a little more for the first color listed and a little less for the second color listed, a little less for the third color listed, but basically all nearly equal portions. And then our instructions say that we'll be brush mixing a lot with all of the pigments that we used in here, and I could have put them all out across the bottom here, which I may end up doing, but I thought I would not clutter this up for showing it to you. So okay, the first thing that we're going to do then is we're going to put in our sky. There's a lot of really good information in this lesson about line of design. This design is based on triangles, and I want you to read that information and study these pictures. It's some good information so that you can go and design for yourself at a later date. I got a good bark picture that I'm going to include in with you so you can see the textures of bark. And let's see, what else have we got in here? We've got a lot of step photos. And this is the first one we're going to be working with, is this step photo number 1. We're going to put in the sky, and then we're going to put some biscuit over the top of the fox so that nothing gets, none of the greens encroach in his area. And then we're going to put in the grasses, and then we're going to cover it all over with a thin veil of gray. We're going to need a wax palette right next to us. And I'm going to try to rearrange. I'm going to put this palette over here. Got this large table and only about a 2-foot area to paint in. It's great. Okay, so we're going to take a large brush, and we're going to use blue mix number 1. And now that's not the dark Payne's gray mix. It's this mix right here. Okay, and we're going to take it up. We're going to mix it with a little bit of water, so I'm going to put it on my palette here. And dribble a little bit of water into it. I'm going to load my brush in it. I'm going to base coat the sky area right down to the mountain line. And I'm going to let it dry. So let's do this one first. So the mountain line is right here. This is a very nice toned blue. Going to go right over where the big tree goes, because the darker value of the tree will cover that up nicely. Okay. Now I'm going to take mine on around on the edge also. Okay, now we still have a dirty brush. Now I'm going to pull out some more of my blue mix on my palette. And I'm going to add a couple of drops of extender. To the mix. I'm going to apply a second coat starting at the top of the board, and I'm going to work down towards the mountain line.